I'm delighted to say that joining us for the next hour or so is the lovely Sharon Callis. How are you, Sharon?
Hi, I'm very well, thank you. All set, ready to go after a great show this morning.
Yeah, I caught a little bit of it actually with George, and it was lovely to see you crafting away. And I kind of feel glad that you're sat down in your own craft room here, because the deals that we're bringing from your collections are just redonkulous, aren't they?
They're absolutely ridiculous for the price, for what you get, all the dies, all the stamps. But yeah, that's what Crafters TV does.
Absolutely right. That's why people keep coming back. Just very quickly before we get into the deals, for people perhaps who are new to us, because we've got so many new viewers watching all the time. If people perhaps haven't met you before, haven't heard about your, Sharon Callis Crafts, tell us a little bit about you and how you got involved with Crafters TV to sort of set the scene a bit.
Gosh, well, I've been around the block for a long time. So I started my career designing for other companies and working on design teams for lots of brands that people would be familiar with in the USA and the UK. And then I joined the Crafters Companion design team.
Yeah.
Then I left to launch my own brand. And people might know me for my flowers with Arts and Flowers and Floral Artistry. And then I came back to Crafters Companion with my Sharon Callis Crafts brand. So I design dies and stamps mainly, but florals are my absolute favourite to work with. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. A designer who loves to play with paper.
It was good to kind of get the little backstory there, and one of the loveliest ladies, one of the most talented ladies as well, and as you can see, one of the most tidiest craft rooms in the industry as well, although you can't see the other side of the camera. There are some amazing deals to come this afternoon, and let's just get going and show you some of these. The Heartfelt Greetings collection, hugely popular when we launched this, and this is on a buy two, get two free deal. Such a lovely idea is this, because you've got the dies to be able to create the most beautiful apertures, whether you're just wanting to create kind of your standard apertures, whether you're wanting to create, beautiful dome cards, whether you're just wanting to cut these and layer these onto your projects, absolutely brilliant. But what I love most about these is that they give you that effect of the sentiment almost like floating within the middle of your card, but the shape that the die cuts allows you to use those stamps in conjunction. So simply it's going to cut that shape for you, and then with the happy birthday die that you've got there, you can then simply stamp your balloons and your presents into the die cut. You've got sending blessings there as well. You're going to see lots of butterflies over the course of the next hour or so, and some stunning collections. That's amazing, and that's where your spending stops really with this collection, because we're going to give you the next two for free. Think about this as well. Thank you. How nice just to be able to send a thank you card to somebody with those gorgeous roses, and of course again, once you stamp those up, you can then colour those to whatever colour you want them to be. And then we've got the gorgeous thinking of you as well, with even more detailing around the actual aperture there itself, which is amazing. So all four of those are included in this deal. You are only paying for two though as part of this deal today. So £23.98 or $27.12. I'm eager, I know we're going to be starting off with these, but eager to show you some of the other deals that we've got on the show as well, because these really are quite simply ridiculous. So the Flower Fairies collection, which, again, we loved on launch. You can get these as broken down bundles. So look, the Flower Fairies Jasmine selection, half price deal, £13 and change if you're a platinum member, or $15.16 if you are shopping with us in the US, as well as Jasmine. We've got the Aster selection as well. So you've got the beautiful Flower Fairies, and then you've got these gorgeous quilling dies as well for you to be able to create the actual flower itself. So 29 elements in total with the Aster selection. Again, look at that price, £13.19 if you're a platinum member, $15.16. If you've loved the Sharon Callis collections and you've been waiting for a show where the prices get smashed down city low, this is that show. Now, next up, Look at this deal on the Sensational Succulents. Again, I remember when we launched this, and this was flying out of the door at the launch price. I can tell you something for nothing. The launch price was not $34.99 or $48.99. This is incredible. And if you love to create your own flowers, this set takes it to that next step, because it allows you to create a whole bunch of different succulents, the like of that I've not seen in craft before. It's phenomenal. You're going to get your little pots in there, your little tags for all of your succulents as well. There's so much in that collection. 46 elements for £27.99 or $39.19 if you're a platinum member is a ridiculous deal. Almost an insult to that collection. Also, can you believe this? The From the Heart stamp collection, a £48, $60 bundle. These are $7.99 each. You're getting the full collection, if you're platinum, for £11 and change. $13.99. Unbelievable. And again, these are such beautiful stamps, and 38 elements in total. Once again, something for every occasion right there. These really are ridiculous. And then, talking of ridiculous, from the Butterflies and Blooms 6-piece selection, you've got 50 elements in total here. Individually, these are $12.99. Right, or $16. You're getting the full selection here for £14.39 or $19.99, containing two of the most beautiful butterfly dies that I think I've seen here at Crafters TV. They are absolutely phenomenal. As we said, we're live and interactive this Thursday. If there's anything that you want to ask during the show, if there's anything you want to know about Sharon, anything you want to ask about the products, today is the day to be able to do it, and we will fire those questions Sharon's way. Get in touch on Facebook and on YouTube, and also let us know if you've got any of these collections already, why you love them so much. That is enough chit chat from me. Let's get over to the lovely Sharon, who I think is going to be having a look at the Heartfelt Greetings collection.
Yeah, what I want to do is just to show you the versatility that is in these dies and what you will get in each individual package. So every one of these comes with it's like an edger die, like an outline die, but you use it to cut an aperture. And this will have a sentiment in the center, and you will also get 2 matching stamps. So I'll show you with the samples here. So with the thank you, just try and reflect the light, as you can see, it's cut in to the card itself. So that means you can have the card base itself any size you want. This is a 6x6. But what you must do when you're going to do your cutting out is ensure there's enough space on the top and bottom for your stamp. So this is the thank you, and that's gorgeous. That's done with the pink. And there's an acetate on that. That adds stability to the dome that you can create with this card. But how gorgeous would that be? Maybe if you seal off the bottom, and then you could fill the inside of it with flowers or sweets or treats or something for someone. Yeah. The next one is the thank you, and this is the same principle, but inside it there is room for some of the quilling flowers. So don't be afraid, like if you've got plain background papers, build things in behind it, or use the stamps again to fill up the space.
Yes.
Next one then is happy birthday.
Love it.
You can see here, this is a stepper card, and the space behind it, now you could put fancy paper here or you could leave it, but again, this is all cut out in a solid colour, and your paper piecing on this with your balloons and your present, and I'll show you how to do that in the demo. How about this for fun?
Oh,
it's a shaker card.
Yes, Sharon, I love that.
I appreciate that it's a bit blurry on this broadcast when I do this, but simple. Use your Spectrum Noirs to create your colour wash backgrounds, piece of acetate, and then some of your gems. Very simple, but a very effective shaker card. And then, of course, we've got 2 more dome cards. So this is the Sending Blessings again, but this one has a deeper curve in it. And this is what I was saying. It's a 6x6 card. So when I cut this, I cut to the height of the card, but the length of it was 8 inches. So the longer it is, the deeper the curve, basically. And then, of course, lastly, we have the Thinking of You with the gorgeous daffodils in it. And use your embossing folders in the background with your distress inks, etc. This gives it some dimension and a focal point and some texture to your card. So that's the samples for those.
Absolutely brilliant. Lovely to see some more finished samples there so you can get in your mind, get an idea as to how you can use this collection. Peg Conrad has just said, hi, Sharon, I love your products.
Hi,
Lisa says, love this collection the succulents, as I live high in the desert of California, and this is so suited to themes popular in my area. And Patty on Facebook says, I love all of Sharon's collection. So let's get into that first demo and have a little look at as to how these work.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an A4 sheet of cardstock and I'm going to fold it in half. So that's your basic card base. Now the overlay, I'm going to do a curved card. So what I've done is I've cut a piece of the Lilac Centura Pearl. It's the same height, so it'll generally always try and keep it the same height as your card, but you can see that it's wider. So this sheet here is actually, I'll tell you what it is now. So it's 8 by 8 exactly.
Yeah.
That. And what I've done is I've scored in 10 millimeters on either side, 10 millimeters either side, because that's going to fold back when we go to form the dome. So generally you can do two things. You could use a plain cardstock and stamp direct onto it, or you could use coloured patterned paper, whatever, and then stamp your stamps and then fussy cut around them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this, but not quite in the centre, because I'm going to put a ribbon across the top here. So I'm going to bring it down, but I need to ensure that I have enough space for my stamp at the end. So very quickly, just take your stamp, place it over it, and that helps you then get your height adjustment. So I think we'll stick with about there. And that still gives me plenty of room on the bottom then for when I add the stamp and I center it. So I'm going to secure this in place before I cut it. So I'll take out the tape because I have, as usual, wrecked my tape holder. So with that in place, I'm going to put some tape in it. Put it on the inside because that's the cutaway, the throwaway piece.
Yes.
So it's not going to get damaged when you peel back the tape. Right. So, and I'm going to use, because it's an 8 by 8, I'm going to use my larger Gemini for this. If it was a 6 by 6, you'd get away with the smaller plates, but I'm going to go with the bigger one. And then I'm just going to pop this through. And then we're going to talk about the stamps. So there is 2 easy ways of doing the stamps themselves. You could get a plain sheet of the white cardstock, place the die down, cut it out in white, and then align your stamps over that, and then fussy cut it out. Right, so we'll take this off. So you see that's the waste that comes away with it.
Yes.
Very easy. And what it leaves you with then is, I'll just move this out of the way.
That's fab.
And try not to wreck the place. Look how gorgeous that is.
Yeah.
Now that would be perfect on its own, but if I was to stamp directly onto this, it might smudge. You could do it with your quick dry inks or your heat embossing, but colouring it in might be a bit tricky. So what I've done then is earlier on I stamped the 2 stamps onto the white cardstock, cut it out, just basically snipped around.
Yes.
And then I'm left with these. And they're going to be affixed to the front of the card where they would have gone. But first what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my ribbon and I'm going to place that on. So I have this gorgeous purple ribbon that's going to go up the top here.
Lovely. What did you colour the balloons and the birthday present with?
I used my tri-blends.
Okay. Is that your pen of choice, your Spectrum Noir pen of choice?
It is, because with the blending and on the balloons where you've got like a light source and the shading, starting with the lighter tone to the dark, when they're all in the one pen, you just don't have to think about it. You know, it's there, it's done for you, and there's no thinking about it involved, basically.
And that's the best way to craft, isn't it, you see?
Oh, it is.
But you don't have to engage brain.
loads of the cards, you know, and you want to put them all, put 1 or 2 or 3 out of the same design.
Yeah.
Having the pen there and all in one is just unbelievably easier to do. Right, so you see there, I've just lined them up where they would have been.
Fab.
And then I'm going to flip it over because I need to do 2 things. I need to add some red liner tape, firstly. I'm using red liner tape because it's a stiff card, and for speed, you know, like trying to let it dry. If I was to do this, not live on television, and I had time to hold it, then I would just use my liquid glue.
Yes.
So just put that down. Before I take off the tape, I'm going to bend up the sides. Now, you don't have to bend it all the way back, just enough, like that, and then come around and do the other side. And then we follow the crease, so use your scoreboard for that. Now, so this is ready for assembly now, so I'm just going to put that to the side for a minute. And then we're going to have a background. So I've actually used the Sarah signature pad for this one.
That masquerade ball.
The masquerade ball.
Thought it was.
And the way I cut the paper is I wanted the floral design near the bottom because this part is going to be covered anyway by the top of the card and the ribbon. So I'll use just use my tape pen to fix that. And there's gorgeous colours in this pad. I've gone through about 3 of these pads so far. They're definitely my go-to pad at the moment.
I think everyone loves that pad.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. So I've added it to Stampin' Card just for rigidity and just to ensure the integrity, you know, that it stays in place. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attempt to remove the backing of the red liner tape.
Do you know what, Sharon? I've been doing a bit more crafting recently, both at home with my daughter, and also I try and join in with the guys here. And one of the most difficult things I find is removing red liner tape. So I'm glad you're a kindred spirit with me in that regard.
Well, one thing I learned this morning is don't let the roll go near your radiator. It makes the glue really tacky. And this morning it was an epic for me getting the back of it off. I'm sure everyone was at home taking bets on how long it was going to take. Okay, so I'm just going to, it's facing down the wrong way, and then we're going to face our pattern paper into it.
Okay.
And then we're going to line it up one side and press down. Now, because it's Censure Pearl, I would use a bone tool just to press it.
Yes.
Now, but we're going to have to lift it to the other side. So don't press down because you'll create a crease. Lift it up off the crafty table, line it up as best you can on this side, and then it's okay to press it down and pinch along here to secure it.
Brilliant.
Now, so this gives us our little rocky curve.
Brilliant. Love that.
Now, I'm going to fix this to the card base, so I'm going to come back with my red liner tape. And I'm using the 6mm for this one. Because I want to ensure that the ribbon as well gets grabbed, so it doesn't pull out.
Okay. Samantha just say that these dies would be great for shaker cards. Of course, you showed us one when you were just running us through some cards at the top there. But they're super versatile, these. And again, these are nice, easy Stampin' dice for our new crafters as well, Sharon, aren't they? They're a lovely set to get crafting with, and they're also going to allow you to create some really, really stunning sort of top-notch cards as well. And projects, not just cards, of course. Yeah,
I mean, the box lanterns. Gift boxes as well, they're perfect for that. You can have any size. I recommend from 6 by 6 inches up. Yeah. In a box for if you're going to use the stamps. Okay. Now, so what I'm going to do is card base, and I'm going to line it up edge to edge. To press it down. So just put the hand in, And another trick, if you're doing this and if you're using light paper and you don't want to rip it, get your ruler, bring it in, and just give it a little rub like that. It helps you to press it down. So then I have a little bow for the top, and I'll use my 3D gel just to fix that in place. So put a little bit behind that, place that on the front, and then that's a basic, simple way of doing it.
It doesn't look basic or simple. I mean, the demo did, but the finished project looks amazing, Sharon. And that's the whole point, though, isn't it? Like a collection like this can make you look like a professional straight off the bat.
It is. Like, you've seen what it is. It's basically a square card or a rectangle. You just place it in the middle, cut it through, 2 stamps, and it looks like you have spent a long time getting that ready. And if you look at the sentiment, do you see the way that floats?
Yeah.
Well, and while the card is curved, the sentiment isn't. I wonder if you can see it if I do that. Do you see?
That's a perfect shot, yes.
Yeah, so the difference that you can do, if you use acetate, obviously it might stick down to it, but you can have fun with that and with your box tops and for your gifts as well.
Absolutely phenomenal. I love that demo so much. And isn't that amazing? Isn't it nice to see, right? Something which is so easy to follow with Sharon taking us through it. But then once you've seen the construction of it, you think, well, I'm quite new, but I could do that. I could create a card like that, and that's the point again with this collection. Don't forget, you're going to get actually 4 different designs here, and the deal on this today is incredible, really. When you consider that you're going to only pay for 2, then we're going to give you another 2 sets absolutely for free, for nada, for nothing. This is the set that Sharon was using just a few moments ago there, so that happy birthday. You've seen how this works, how easy this gives you that amazing die cut. Again, whether you're using this as an aperture, whether you're using it for a shaker card, a box lid, or like Sharon did just there, creating that really cool dome card. And then you've got the room there to pop in your stamps, whether you want to pop them, straight on, stamp them straight on and then colour them, or as Sharon did, do them separately and add them on later. But you've got happy birthday in there, sending blessings with the butterfly. I'm sure it's going to be an absolutely massive hit. And don't forget, you can use these stamps individually as well. There's nothing to say that you can't take these, like these gorgeous florals as well on the thank you, into your other projects as well. So it's super, super versatile, super easy crafting, but super professional finished results you'll get with this collection as well. It's a half price deal, basically £23.98 or $27.12 for that collection. Really great deals today on the Sharon Callis range. We're super delighted that Sharon is with us live to kind of give us inspiration and demonstrate with these, and we're super, super excited that you guys are able to pick these up at such unbelievable prices as well. Now, talking about unbelievable prices, half price deals on the Flower Fairies. And these are incredible. Again, if you want a set which is going to give you crafting versatility and also a set which I think you will love crafting with the kids and the grandkids with, this is the set to go for, because it's going to create you lots of different flower fairies, different characters. This is the Jasmine set, and as you can see, what we've got for you here is a collection which is not only going to stamp out these beautiful, beautiful images, but then you've got the dies to be able to cut out your stamped images to be able to create your flower fairy. And the great thing is, again, with this, is that you can totally customize your fairy. If you just wanted a ballerina there without the wings, absolutely you can do that. You don't have to cut out all the bits, and you basically build these fairies to look how you want them to look is the point here. You can embellish them how you want to embellish them. So it gives you so much versatility. You've got the beautiful sentiments with those as well. And with each of the flower fairies, we give you the actual flower too. So you've got the Jasmine die included with this really, really great system, which I just remember Sharon for, like being able to create these flowers really, really simply and easily. So that's also included within the Jasmine set. £13 or $15 if you're platinum is ridiculous for these. Honestly, I can't believe the prices we're doing. If you don't pick these up today, you are missing an absolute trick as far as I'm concerned. As well as Jasmine, same again, we've got gorgeous Aster here, and once again, loads of stamps to get working with, all of the dies to be able to cut out your stamped images once again. And like I said, you know, you build up as to how you want it to look. If you wanted to kind of just be like a ballerina, you can do. If you wanted to be the fairy, you can. I mean, here, her wings could just be like a butterfly on its own. The point is you have got total ability to customize these to how you want them to look. And once again, you've got one of those gorgeous quilling dies to be able to create the actual flower with the calyx. And then that beautiful leaf in there too. £13 for all of that again. Are you joking me? That's amazing. $15, $16 if you're platinum. Do not miss out on these today. They are phenomenal. And I think possibly as we go over to Sharon, I mean, Sharon, the goodies that you bring to us are always amazing. But I love the flower fairies because they're so, like, you can basically make your flower fairy look however you want it to look. These are super customizable, aren't they?
Super customizable, super interchangeable as well. So the elements that I've put into each fairy, like you've got little magic wands, you've got sentiments, you've got flourishes, you've got flower stamps. Use those, mix and match, build a scene, build a diorama. The dies that come with it can be used as well to build silhouettes. So you don't even have to use the stamps. You could do backgrounds and silhouettes with those. Great with your inked backgrounds. Use your black inks on them. The dancers themselves are all in dance and ballet poses. So if you have a little dancer in your life, you don't have to use the flower skirts because each of them comes with clothes, basically.
Yes.
A tunic or something. Or why not cut out those elements in felt or cut them out in flower foam and add those to the paper to give it some texture as well. You can use them with or without the wings. So without the wings, you've got your ballet dancers. With the wings, you've got your fairies. Or separate them out on the page and you've got your ballet dancer with a butterfly. I mean, there's so many different combinations with these. And you have your quilling flowers as well. The simplest quilling flower you will ever make, the easiest. It's foolproof. You just cut once, fold it and roll it.
Absolutely brilliant. Let's have a look at some finished cards that you've got there because I know you've got plenty to show us. But by the way, loads of people loving the flower fairies. Peg's is saying, I made 5 fairy stepper cards with boxes. I sold them for $5 each at the farmer's market and it paid for the set. That's the way I can support my buys as I love all of the new things. And worth bearing in mind, Sharon, as we see your makes, you're quite happy for people to make and sell for charity or, you know, sell to fund their crafty habit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I encourage it. Because I mean, you want to spread the joy with your crafting. Yeah. You know, so absolutely, I have absolutely no problem at all with you selling your makes. And gosh, if you're showing them online, tag me online. Yeah. I'd love to see what people are making with them, and I'll give you a shout out or a share on my own socials as well. So don't forget to hit me up with those.
Amazing. Let's have a look at your cards. These are great.
Yeah, so just to show you some basics, right, here we have Aster that you just saw. Now look, this is her skirt. There's 3 layers of flowers on these. You don't have to use all 3. You could use 1, 2, or none. We have our wings at the back, but just to show you the length of her, get out your nesting dies to create apertures and maybe have her floating in the center. I think that's gorgeous. So that would make an absolutely perfect box top. Yeah. As well. So that is Aster. And then we've got Jasmine. Wow. So Jasmine is in kind of a side profile, a kind of a flying effect with her and her pose. But look at the colours and tones with this and the smallest flower, the Jasmine. I think that's one of the smallest flower dies I've ever made. Yeah. But it's so effective on that with your foliage. Then use your stamps. One of the stamps that comes is I made a wish and thought of you. Oh, I love it. Each of the flower fairies as well comes with her own name. And you get elements. So this here then is like, I think he called them clocks or dandelions. Yeah. Over there. So with another little fairy on top. So those little elements added to your flower fairies create gorgeous backgrounds. Or how about doing something that's not traditional in colour? This is Rose, and she's done in the blue. Wow. And flowers that come with it, that is just white stamping card, and it has some of the Crafter's Companion stamens in the centre, which you can add no problem as well. And look, just ink it up. So if you don't have any of the petal papers or any tones to match your colour tones in your papers, white stamping card, get out your inks, have a little bit of fun with those as well.
Wow, I mean, so much food for thought right there, and I think we are going to have a little look at these right now with Sharon. Loads of you loving the deals. Mary Pat saying stunning samples, Sharon. And yes, if you've got any questions for Sharon, then do feel free to send those in. By the way, just as you're getting ready for that that demo as well, Sharon, you mentioned your socials. If people do want to kind of hit you up on the socials, I think that's what they say, isn't it? That's what the kids say.
Yeah.
Tag you on the Insta.
Yeah, in general on all social media, I'm Sharon Callis Craft.
Yep.
But we have got a Facebook group called Sharon Callis Creative Crew.
Okay.
So there's members of the design team in there who've worked with the product, who share their samples, etc. You know, so come and join us, share your own work, tag us, and any questions you can just contact me through there. Just drop me a message. I'd love to hear from people.
Absolutely brilliant. And of course, make use of Sharon right now as well. She's with us for another half an hour. Back with us later on from 6 o'clock, 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. As we get into the demo, talking to questions, Miriam's just said, could you use flower foam with these flower fairies?
Yes, no problem at all. You can use the flower foam. What I will say, because it's a quilling flower, there's two things I would recommend with the foam. One is don't put it near a heat source until you've rolled it and secured it. So you can use red liner tape. I prefer to use the hot glue gun for that. So quill it up with a tweezers and then turn it over. And on the back then just put your hot glue and let it cool, and that will hold it together. And then either using the heat gun or the iron, just using the tweezers, bring it over to it and just rub it on it, and you'll see the petals take shape and form with that. And you can also use felt. I recommend the synthetic felt, the felt that's you might find in a children's craft shop. It's really thin, almost cardboard-like, because that, when you cut the wool felt with the dyes, the petals tend to pull away, but with the synthetic, they last a bit longer.
Perfect. Who have you got there then?
Right, so we're going to take a look at Rose. So on the sheet, I'm just going to turn this over, and I don't know whether it'll show up with cameras because I've got a really gnarly overhead light here.
Gnarly.
Gnarly.
Great word.
That's an Irish thing. So this is Rose. So on this stamp sheet, this goes with all of them. There's around 15, 16 stamp elements across them. But some of the lesser known ones that you probably can't see, she's got a love potion. She's got a rose. We have a decorative element there for your edges, but we have 2 rose stamps and petals as well, so you can cut them out, stamp with those. And a book of love spells, and of course then we have Rose herself, so we're going to take Rose out. Now, I've taken out the large stamping platform because it's just easier to stamp and then die cut everything together.
Yes.
We lay Rose down here. It almost looks like she's Irish dancing.
Does look a little bit like that, actually. Is that something that you can do, Sharon?
Yeah. Oh gosh. Well, it's kind of something your maid do when you're younger.
Next time you're over here, Sharon, make sure you ask producer Johnny to show you his Irish dancing, because he's Michael Flatley. Unbelievable the moves that he's got. There's a video, doing the rounds somewhere. Of Johnny. Apparently he needs to warm up with a couple of cans of beer, but then he's pretty much like Michael Flatley.
Well, if you can Irish dance, it's a little known fact, if you can Irish dance and do it effectively, you'll get a passport. Right.
There you go, Johnny.
That's the requirement now. They'll all be down at the passport office. Sharon Set.
You can see them all now in the queue doing the river dance.
Oh yeah, and I would be in so much trouble. Now, so I had my Harmony ink pad there a second ago in the black ink. What did I do with that?
And your craft room looks so tidy as well, you see. I would have thought
so
you'd be able
tidy. Do you know, it's organised chaos. I'm just going to spin around the back here.
That's all right. Whilst just spinning around, there's lots of lovely comments coming through. Lots of chat about the sort of customization that you've got with these sets. That's the brilliant thing. Again, you know, as Sharon said, you can build these up to make them look how you want them to look. Mary just saying your cards are absolutely gorgeous, Sharon.
Oh, thank you.
And again, if you've not bought any of Sharon's collections, you'll love these again for the fact that the quilling dies that you get with these are phenomenal. And I still remember the first time we met Sharon over at the other place, and I just remember marvelling at your quilling dies, and you know, people just saying how difficult they found it to kind of create flowers, and you know, you came up with this idea of creating these dies to be able to make quilling flowers super simple for everybody, and each of the fairies comes with their own quilling die, don't they?
They do, yeah. So I like to, when I do a collection, I like to give value, and see how far I can stretch out a collection. And as a crafter, when I'm sitting down to make something, there's been many a time where I've bought a collection, I have an idea of another direction I might want to take it, and say, oh, if only I had this, or if only I had that part. So that's what I try to do when I'm creating a collection. So to give you all the little extra bits that you can use, or they're there if you go to look for them. So that's basically what I like to do.
Love it.
Okay, so what I've done is I've stamped out, we've got rows with our 3 skirt layers, and we have the butterfly. And then what we do then is we colour in these pieces before we cut them. Now, I'll just do a little bit of colouring before we go, because we'll start with rose. So I'm going to do a dark skin tone on rose today.
Okay.
So I'm using my tri-blend pen, and it's the Earth Brown blend. This is my favourite one for doing darker skin tones. So we're going to work with the shadow that would be under the skirt, and then we're going down the side of the leg, because the light is going to come from one side. So then we just blend in. Now you could just put down a layer of just all the light tone, but I like to make life harder for myself.
Do you find colouring an easy thing to do? Are you a colourist, or is it something, because a lot of our guys here find that they're on sort of various journeys when it comes to colouring. Is it something that you enjoy doing, Sharon?
Oh, I do, very much so. I mean, I was around for the launch of the very first set of Spectrum Noir pens.
Okay.
Very first, that's how old I am.
So many years ago.
So back in days of yore, and I have to say, like, I was amazed.
Yeah.
Because I always thought to myself, right, I can't colour, my shading, my blending, everything was awful. Now, it was absolutely awful. You wouldn't put it on a card, and I said, right, I'm never going to get the hang of this. So when these pens came out, and the lovely Leanne said, wait till you get a look at this system here, and you see how easy it is, you know, to blend. It makes you a colourist. They really do. Yeah. And I was absolutely hooked from the minute that I took them. And then I was given, because they were new on the market, I was given them, you know, on cards to people, and they were like, oh, how did you do that? And, you know, like, oh my God, you are such an expert in your colouring. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did that. Then the secret was out.
That's the reaction that you want, though, isn't it? People thinking that, you know, you're an expert.
Right, so I've started that, but what I'll do is, right, to move the demo on a bit, I'm going to, in the best TV style, here's one I made earlier.
Love it. Fabulous.
Yeah, so you just colour them in, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how the dies work with these. So what you get is you get your outline dies, and as I said earlier, these could actually be used with just black cards to create silhouettes. So we're going to line her up, but I do recommend that you tape them down, because they do tend to move just as you're about to cut it. So put the tape not over the colouring, just put it on the side, top and bottom for the flower fairy. for the wings and that, you can get away with just one piece of tape. So we have that. Then we have the die for the wings. Again, look, I mean, the silhouette you can create with these as well. It's just fabulous. And don't forget to, like, you don't have to stick with this collection. You can add it, if you have any flower fairies, you know, papers from other brand or the CC brands and stuff, use these dies with that as well, and the paper pads, because there's the pads that come with it are the petal pads. Mm-hmm. I don't know whether we have any in stock today. Do we?
We can check. Johnny's just going to check for us.
Right, so as you can see, I'm just lining up the dies over the skirts. And then it takes a little bit of time, but if you just put that through, because I think it's important to show you, because one of the big questions I do get online is, how do the outline dies work? How do you place them? So basically, it's just keep an even white edge around them when you look at them. Right, so there. And then we have our last little one. Now I've coloured rose in red because sometimes I associate roses with pinks and that, but you don't have to. You can colour. Or you can stamp, if you're not into colouring, stamp uncoloured cardstock.
Yes.
Then just do the outline dies. You know, if colouring isn't your thing, but honestly, if you give it a go with the tri-blends, you'll be hooked. And you will be colouring everything. There won't be a project out there that you haven't added a bit of colouring to. So simply you just cut these out, and then I'll show you basically the assembly.
Yes.
I've had to put the fairy together, and I layer up then just on a basic card with a nesting die in the background, and you'll see again, like with the heartfelt greetings, how a little does a lot.
Yeah.
When it comes to
it's a nice set as well again, isn't it? I always think sets like this are great for crafting with the kids, particularly. I mean, I know my daughter would absolutely love this set because it's great, isn't it? Creating the different fairies and, you know, building up all of those different layers. I think, you know, if you're wanting to do some crafting with the kids or the grandkids again, this is a lovely set to kind of share your love of craft with the little ones, isn't it? To get them into crafting.
It is, because what I like about these metal dies, they're not sharp.
Yes.
You know, they are safe. Like, you know, I've had 3 to 4 year olds using them in a school that I do some teaching in, and they absolutely love it. And the machines are safe as well, because there's no exposed roll mechanisms or anything on them. So I'm very confident and happy with the kids using it. And it gives them a bit of, I mean, imagine how we feel when we do something like this and we put it through a machine and see the result. With a child, it's like, oh, I am just, you know, the bomb. Look what I did. You know, they go home to mommy and everything, and they go, look what I made you, mom. And it's just amazing. Right, so we have Rose here. Now, I could put her on the card like that, but I like to give the body a little bit of shape.
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn her over, and with the small ball tool, I'm just going to go down the legs, just to give her a bit of form.
Yeah.
And then, because there is a tension in paper as well, it's like water. You need to get it to do what you want it to do, you add a little form, and then go behind the face area.
Yes.
Now, it's only a little, but it's hard to see on the camera, but it does give her, like one of those dressing paper dolls, just a bit of dimension.
Absolutely.
So we're going to layer up the skirt. And you always start with the largest and work to the smallest. Again, we're going to give these a little bit of shape.
Where did the idea from the flower fairies come, Sharon?
I was working on a dancer set.
Oh, right.
And I was working on a fairy set.
Right.
And I thought, they look a bit too similar. Maybe I can combine them. And basically that was it. Like,
oh, wow.
You know? I just said I'd combine them. I said, well, the dancers, if you add wings and add the skirts to them, they could be the fairies. So I said, right.
Yeah.
So it's a 2-for-1 kind of a set, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm going to use my tape pen just for speed on this. So on the back of the large skirt, just up at the top, and using the waistband of the dress as my guide, I'm just going to put the first layer on underneath and give it a press. And you can see that the petals are lifting where I've added some form to them with the ball tool. And then I go over again. Now there are white edges, as you can see, for the die cutting. But don't be afraid, just go back if you want with your pen and colour those in, same colour as the petals. And that'll eliminate any white lines there.
Yeah.
I'll show you. I'm just going to take the dark red and I'm just going to go across the top of this.
Okay, just blending it in.
And I'm just blending that into the waistband. You know, you can go all around it as well. And it just all blends in together. Okay, now, so that's our fairy. That's Rose complete. Then we have our wings.
And I know those are wings, obviously, Sharon, but talking about how these are versatile, that could be a beautiful butterfly as well, couldn't it?
Perfect, absolutely perfect butterfly. And what I would do actually would be, I would cut 2, maybe 3. So then that would be your base.
Yeah.
I would cut another one and then cut out around this wing here and around here and layer that over it. And maybe do a third layer, we're cutting out just the smaller part and over that again. So layer them up for paper piecing and dimension on that. So to add the wings, I'm going to use foam pads because I want to have a bit of space between the body and the back, right? So I'll put 2 in here. And then we're going to peel off that. And then rather than pushing the wings on the back just like this, bring Rose to the wings.
Yeah.
And see where you'd like to position them. So I'm going to go with there for high wings. And that is Rose herself.
Love
completed.
that.
So what I'll do is I'll just layer her up onto a card and then I'll do a quick quilling flower to show you how they work.
Perfect.
So the paper I'm using the red textured cardstock, and then this passion paper is for the chinoiserie collection.
Yes.
Chinoiserie.
Yes.
Another gorgeous paper pad, because I like the tones with the green and the rose.
Yeah,
then
beautiful.
I got the red textured cardstock, but this is actually the Christmas green Centura Pearl, because I love the reflection that's on that. So this is in danger of looking quite Christmassy. If you want to get a start on Christmas fairies. Right, so I'm just going to place that in the
Guaranteed
middle.
delivery for Christmas, as our Craig would say.
Yeah. And then just simply adding her to the back. We'll go with the foam pads for her as well, but I'll go for larger ones. I don't want the head to stick down, so I'm putting it on the back of the wings, and I'm just going to put one more down just at her feet. Take that off. And then we line her up.
That really is beautiful.
Right here.
Wow.
So she stands out, and the reflection from the Centura Pearl as well gives you a kind of a fairy kind of ethereal glow on that. Okay, right. Rose comes with her own flower.
Yes.
Obviously, the rose. And in that you will get, I'll just show you real quick, the quilling die. You will get then the calyx die, and we do have smaller die there as well. So just to show you what the double-sided quilling die is, for those who haven't seen it before, you may be familiar with a single-sided quilling die where you would get a single die, and you would have had to cut that out twice, then add a glue, layer one layer over the other, try and align it. But when you go to quill that, you've got the thickness of the glue, you've got the split of the paper, and then when you roll your flower, it just tends to fall apart. So I came up with this system where you cut once, you fold it, and you roll it, and there's your flower. So I'm just adding a little bit of curve to the petals just to soften them up. I recommend doing this with all your flowers just to make them look a bit more natural. So just along the edge. Now, I'm going to be folding this edge off. So I want the curves to go the same way. So just flip it over, then add the curve to the other side. And you'll see why that's important now when I go to fold it over. Now I'm just doing the top of this petal. Now, and then we have a perforated line, and that's what we're going to fold along. So you see, you don't have to cut 2 layers. The alignment and joining is all done for you.
Yeah.
There's that. So you're saving time, you're saving tape, you're saving patience.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes it so easy, doesn't it? And you don't necessarily have to have a specific quilling tool to be able to do this, do you? If you haven't got one, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. You can use tweezers. You know, some people I've seen, they put the tape on, then they stick a cocktail stick onto it.
Yeah.
And use that to roll it back as well. So you can play around with it. The paper, the GSM that you can use on these, basically the lighter you use, the smaller the flower, believe it or not, because the circumference of the roll is tighter, so you get a tighter bloom. The thicker the card, because it has a spine on it, as you're rolling it, that's thicker and spreads out more. So it does actually make a difference. But these flowers, So I attach the quilling tool to the smaller end, and see this? How easy is that?
I know.
And I'm not putting any pressure. I'm just barely holding the quilling tool. I'm just rolling it along. You don't want to do it too tight, but there's your flower.
Phenomenal.
How easy is that? And then you just use your fingers, spread out the petals if you want an open flower. You can stick a little gem in the center. They're quite movable as well, so if you want to move position of any of them, you could do that. But that's, in general, how you make a rose. And that system and method of making the flower is the same for every flower.
Yeah.
You know, so once you master one, you can do them all in the collection. So we'll just add these little roses in, add a bit of foliage. I'm just going to bend up those petals.
You've got your Sharon Callis calyx as well there, haven't you?
Yeah, the Callis calyx.
Do you know what? I don't know if you watched the TV show, but I thought of you a few weeks ago. Do you watch the TV show Pointless?
Yes.
There was a round on parts of a flower. And you know, so in the game for our US viewers, no, you have to get a correct answer, but an answer that nobody else has got. And it was parts of a flower. And because knowing you and knowing your dyes, I just learnt that word calyx all those years ago. And I was like, calyx, that must be one. And it was a pointless answer, Sharon. So if I'd have been on the show, I'd have won a couple of grand.
You would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see it, and I was like, no, wait. And there was people telling me I made that word up.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
No.
There's the proof. Now, how simple is that? Very effective.
That is gorgeous. Absolutely phenomenal. And that, for me, just showcases why you absolutely need to get these collections. That's Rose that you've just seen there. Getting all the elements to build up the actual flower fairy herself. And then, of course, you've then got the beautiful quilling die to be able to create the actual rose flower. And how phenomenal was that? How quick? How easy? Have you ever tried to do that before and you found it too faffy, too difficult? You just can't get to grips with it? Get this collection and you'll be making those flowers in next to no time.